Here we are, guys, in part 25 of this story. In the land of waves, our favorite blonde encounters the Kyuubi. Watch the subsequent events unfold as Naruto uses the power that was sealed inside of him on the day of his birth. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Now, let's begin. Hinata, chirped Naruto as he popped down out of a tree and a few inches away from her face. Eep. Hinata had been with her team that morning and they had just finished up their training. Seeing as Hinata and Shino had been given the next 2 weeks off, Kiba got lucky and the entire Team 8 was given the same. Despite 2 of the members of Team 8 being Chunin, they would still remain an intact squad under their Jonin sensei until every member of the squad was promoted to Chunin and they had spent 5 years under their sensei's guidance. However, it was rare that this would occur as most Jonin don't even take the Chunin exams until they are at least 15 years in age, putting them under their sensei's instruction for 4 years, and the average age of promotion through the Chunin exams was 18 years of age. Once every few years, a highly skilled Jonin would come along and make Chunin before at a young age. However, this was just ridiculous. In this one group alone, 9 out of 14 had made the rank of Chunin before most would even attempt to take the exam, and from the looks of things, the remaining 5 members had a strong chance at making Chunin within the next round or 2 of exams. 14 Jonin making Chunin before the age of 15 was just unheard of. However, that only went to support the assumption that this really was a special group of ninja coming up. Hey Hinata, wanna go grab some ramen? Asked Naruto with a big grin plastered on his face. Is that all you ever think about? Ramen? Joked Kiba. There's nothing wrong with that, is there? Replied Naruto. Nice jacket Shino. Shino was the only member of Team 8 to be wearing their flak jacket right now. Hiyashi had taken Hinata's and hung it as sort of a trophy in the clan meeting hall, where the elders would spend a lot of their time plotting. Thank you, replied Shino. I would say the same, but yours seems a bit too big. How did you get one? I thought Hokage-sama wasn't going to be giving you one until you got back? Asked Kiba. Oh, this isn't mine. Iruka-sensei let me borrow it for a few days, replied Naruto. Arf. Yeah. Rub it in my face, will ya? Said Kiba to Akamaru. Akamaru had told Kiba that the scent on the jacket wasn't Naruto's, but most likely Iruka's. Akamaru figured that Naruto must have borrowed it. So what do you say? Ramen? Asked Naruto. Hinata smiled and nodded as the two took off. Man, there goes another team lunch. Oi Shino, you up for lunch? Asked Kiba. Thank you for the offer, but I must decline. Fu has accepted my clan's invitation to live with us, so I must be there to ensure everything goes smoothly for her, said Shino before he took off as well. Looks like it's just you and me, buddy, said Kiba. Naruto and Hinata had finished their ramen. After all their times getting ramen together, Naruto could tell that Hinata's favorite by far was the miso ramen. Afterwards, Naruto was dragging Hinata somewhere. Naruto? Where are we going? Asked Hinata. I wanted to go over to Rikinu and Satanora's and see if we could get a reservation there before I left, said Naruto. Instantly, Hinata realized what Naruto was talking about. Rikinu and Satonora Kamiri were the owners and head chefs at the Flaming Leaf Inn, the place where the two of them had their first date and one of the very few restaurants that Naruto had actually been allowed to eat at. She figured Naruto wanted to do one more date there as well. Boom! Was heard as Naruto and Hinata approached the restaurant. They watched in horror as the very building where they had their first date was engulfed in the explosion and leveled to the ground in mere seconds. Standing a few meters in front of them were Rikinu and Satonora. What's the matter, honey? Asked Rikinu. Nothing, cried Satonora. It's just that building has so many fond memories. I remember the day when we first opened in there. I'm going to miss that old building. Excuse me, said Hinata, walking up to the older couple. Ah, Hyuga-san, Uzumaki-san. It's nice to see you on this fine day, and congratulations on your exam, said Satonora, completely regaining his composure in an instant. Naruto was kind of at a loss of words due to Satanora's immediate 180. What happened here? We were on our way to see if we could make a reservation before I leave on my trip, and well, all we see is your restaurant being destroyed. Satonora began to tear up again. No. Why did you have to leave us like that? Why? Everyone's sweat dropped at the head chef's antics. Don't mind him, spoke Rikinu. We are just going through a bit of remodeling. You see, our son just got back from a long business trip to gather new and exciting ideas for our restaurant. I mean, sure, we were doing great with what he had, but all the upper class dining was starting to get a little boring. We wanted to bring some fresh life back into the place, and thankfully our son, Kazuki, found just that. Really? So what sort of ideas did he find on his trip and where did he go? Asked Naruto. Well, he was gone for a few years traveling to a continent that is far west of here. There, He managed to pick up a lot of interesting recipes and he told us about these places called dance and dinner clubs. I'm sure that's something a young couple like yourself would have an absolute blast, said Rikinu. You know, the two of you here for a delicious meal and afterwards, you can dance the night away in each other's arms. Hinata's eyes lit up at the prospect of the new restaurant. Oh my, me dancing with Naruto, eep, thought Hinata while letting an eep sneak out. When she was young, her mother had taught her how to dance a little and she loved it. Now, the prospect of dancing with the one she loved had her on the verge of fainting at the idea. Naruto, on the other hand, was sweating on the inside. Dance? I have no clue how to dance. Oh, this trip just keeps getting better and better, thought a certain white-haired man who should have better things to do than spy on his apprentice. Naruto looked towards Hinata, trying to gauge her reaction, and from the looks of things, he was going to have to learn how to dance somehow. About a month ago, we did sort of a week trial to gauge if this idea was going to be successful and everyone loved it, said Rikinu. We also learned that if we are going to implement it, then we will need to expand the restaurant, so we are going through renovations to practically double the seating capacity and add a stage and dance floor. Also, some of the newer Western recipes that we are going to add require a few small changes to the kitchen. So how long are you going to be gone? 3 years, replied Naruto, dampening Hinata's mood. Oh wow. That's some time. Well, we'll be up and running for sure when you return. Stop by when you return and we'll set you up with a reservation for the two of you, said Rikinu. Said Naruto, feeling a tug on his shirt sleeve. Please, begged Hinata, trying to look as cute as possible, which honestly was not necessary as she could have gotten Naruto without doing so, but a little extra never hurt. Hey, okay. We'll come here when I get back, I promise. It's just well, said Naruto nervously. Everyone looked at the blonde questioningly. I kind of don't know how to dance. What? Don't know how to dance? How do you expect to sweep the ladies off their feet if you can't dance? Please tell me that's not. Thought Naruto. Don't worry kid, I'll teach you how to dance. Just leave it up to the one and only Jiraiya to whip you into something the ladies absolutely cannot resist. Just kill me now, please, thought Naruto. That can be arranged, joked Kurama. Oh, he was going to get quite a show watching his vessel struggle over the next 3 years. Sakura and Sasuke had remained at the training ground after a quick lunch. To say that she was ecstatic that Sasuke had asked her to the festival would be an understatement. Sakura had vowed never to give any sort of fangirlish scream, but after she left Sasuke's hospital room after he asked her, she simply couldn't help herself. This one moment had told Sakura exactly what she had been wanting to know. Sasuke had in fact begun to develop feeling for her. However, despite this huge victory for her, she knew she couldn't stop to rest. She knew she had to continue to hone her shinobi skills, not because doing so is what got Sasuke to notice her in the first place, but because of what she would have to face in the future. Both Naruto and Sasuke would eventually be confronted by powerful enemies and there was no way she was going to let them face everything alone. Not to mention, she was really beginning to enjoy shinobi life and learning to be a med nin. The 3 members of Team 7 had gathered in the morning for a little bit of training, even though Kakashi had not designated a meeting time and had pretty much disbanded the team again until it reconvenes in 3 years. Still, Sakura found that actually training with Sasuke was getting kind of fun. Naruto was over against one of the trees, looking over a rather large scroll, most likely one of those Uzumaki ceiling scrolls of his. Needless to say, it was still weird to see Naruto study like that. Sasuke was simply doing some weapons exercises as he was still ordered to take it easy for another day or two. Sakura had joined him and their practice turned into more of a game between the two of them. While he would aim his shuriken at the target, Sakura would attempt to thread her senbon through the holes in the shuriken. So far, she was actually doing fairly well, about 60% accuracy, which was actually very good. Haku had maybe a 75% accuracy and the senbon was his specialty, and Sasuke couldn't even get 30% without a Sharingan. After probably the first few throws, Sasuke began to realize what Sakura was doing and started to play along, giving her different combinations and formations of shuriken to deal with. By the time lunch rolled around, Naruto had taken off. Sakura figured he went to go and find Hinata, which was fine as it now gave her some time alone with Sasuke for their lunch, that is until they heard a shriek that sent shivers down both of their spines. Oh Sasuke! Come out Sasuke! Squealed a girl by the name of Aimi. She was one of the few Sasuke fangirls who remained in the ninja program after failing the True Genin test. Afterwards, she was sent back to remedial classes where she apparently managed to pass because she had her leaf forehead protector. Sasuke and Sakura both groaned as the bubbly fangirl hopped out of the bushes. She had long brown hair that extended to the middle of her back. Even though Naruto had let the long hair secret slip to a few of his friends, a majority of the fangirls still thought it was Sasuke who liked girls with long hair when in reality it was Naruto. Perhaps I should say something to them about that, thought Sakura. Cha! then all the fangirls would immediately shave their heads. "That'd be so hilarious," exclaimed inner Sakura. Sakura was surprised a bit. She hadn't heard from her inner self in quite some time, but the mental image created by inner Sakura was just too funny to resist. Now she was actually tempted to do such. Sasuke got up and was about to walk away before Ami called out. "So Sasuke, you know there's this festival coming up tomorrow and I still don't have anyone to go with. So how about you and I?" "Oh hell no. He's mine," thought both Sakura and inner Sakura at the same time. "No," replied Sasuke in a cold tone to his fangirl, "but you and I would make the perfect couple. Just think, you winning me prizes at the games and then we share some festival goodies while you feed me. Oh, and then the fireworks at the end," dreamed Ami. "I can just see it now. You and I cuddling on a hill, laced with grass and flowers as the fireworks explode in the distance, but then out of the corners of our eyes, we catch each other's gaze and we, eek." Sakura was just about at the point where she would kill this girl. She was doing the best to restrain herself, but if Ami went any further, then she would most likely put the girl out of her misery. "Go away, you're annoying," said Sasuke with a cold harsh tone towards Ami. "But Sasuke," pleaded Ami, "can't you see I need to get back to training?" replied Sasuke. Sakura was beginning to remember that attitude of Sasuke's. It was the same attitude he had when they were first put on Team 7 and she had been asking pretty much the same things out of him. However, Sakura wasn't worried he'd slip back into his old self. Sasuke was like this whenever fangirls and those who just wanted something out of him came around, but he'd open back up when it was just him and one of his real friends. "Perhaps I can help you with training. My kunai and shuriken throwing has gotten really good lately," replied Ami, pulling out 2 shuriken and throwing them. When she opened her eyes, she saw Sasuke quaking in his feet. The first shuriken had actually nicked the inside of his thigh. Had it have been a few inches higher and he really would be the last Uchiha. However, the second shuriken had pretty much sealed Imi's fate. Naruto and Hinata were walking along through the village. Naruto only had about 2 more days after today to spend with Hinata before Uro-Sennin said he'd be back. The festival was tomorrow and he really wanted to do something else with Hinata before leaving, but the one restaurant where he would have taken her was now closed for remodeling and apparently Jiraiya was going to teach him how to dance. Just great. Naruto stopped dead in his tracks as he felt a familiar ki wash over the village before cowering behind Hinata. "Naruto?" asked a confused Hinata. "I'd know that ki anywhere," shivered Naruto. "Someone pissed off Sakura." Ami looked over to see a pissed off Sakura, who was also missing a sizable portion of her right bang, and a shuriken pinning a chunk of pink hair to a tree. "That little brat. I'm going to kill her," raged inner Sakura. "Actually, I've got a better idea," replied Sakura. Immediately, the sweet smile that was trademarked by her master appeared on Sakura's face. Ami's face went blank, something most ninja recognized as the influence of a genjutsu. A few seconds later, Ami dropped to her knees. "Sasuke, why?" she screamed before losing consciousness. "Genjutsu?" asked Sasuke. "Shame, and that was one of the weaker ones," I had said Sakura. "So what did she see?" asked Sasuke. "I don't know. Demonic illusion. Hell viewing technique. It's different for each person unless I specifically control it like I did with Ino's. All I know is she just saw the worst thing her brain could imagine. And from the sounds of it, it involved you," replied Sakura, earning a shiver from Sasuke. She checked the time and sighed. "I've got to go meet up with Tsunade Shishu for the rest of the afternoon." "Right. Yes, I'll see you tomorrow then," replied Sasuke. "Definitely. I'm looking forward to it," said Sakura as she took off back towards the village. The Festival of the Budding Leaf, a celebration commemorated to the founding of Konoha. This was a time when everyone in Konoha came together to celebrate with music, lights, festivities, and cheers, capping it off with a grand fireworks display at the end of the night. For a certain blonde boy, this was his first real opportunity to experience the joys of a festival. "Oh man, this is going to be great," exclaimed Naruto. He was making his way through the village, dressed in the orange and black kimono that he had gotten over a week ago when shopping with Hinata. This was the first festival he could honestly say he was going to be able to enjoy, that is until, demon, crap. Why now? Thought Naruto. So much for the festival, or so he thought. Naruto took a quick look around to see where the cries were coming from and surprisingly, no one was looking towards him. He heard a screech and his attention was turned towards a festival stand that sold smoked fish. At that stand were about a dozen people screaming demon towards a certain cat, wearing a red ribbon in her hair, who was apparently holding the fish stand hostage. "You know, it's times like this that make me glad I'm no longer a Genin and that I don't have to worry about catching that damned cat," said Naruto. A nearby festival patron laughed slightly at Naruto's comment. Naruto figured he must have been a ninja who had a bad experience with Tora at one point in time as he continued on his way towards the Hyuga compound. "Orange, I should have known," retorted Neji as Naruto arrived at the compound. Yeah. I make one change to my normal outfit and I'm no longer allowed to wear orange, said Naruto, taking a look over Neji's attire, which consisted of a primarily white kimono with brown trimmings. So do you have a date for the festival? Or did Hiyashi-sama ask you to follow me and Hinata around all night? Neji smiled. No. I won't be tailing the two of you tonight, although that doesn't mean I won't be able to see what you're doing, he said, activating his Byakugan for emphasis. So who's the lucky lady? Asked Naruto. That would be me, said a familiar voice. Tenten? Asked a surprised Naruto as Tenten walked up and placed a hand on Neji's arm. She was wearing a crimson kimono with gold wisps working their way throughout the garment. Since when? Since after I had to drag your crispy ass back to the hospital. I stopped into Neji's room and he asked me, replied Tenten. Come on Neji, let's go. In a moment, I want to see his reaction, whispered Neji to Tenten. Neji then turned to Naruto. Hinata-sama will be ready in a few minutes. After a few minutes, the doors to Hinata's house opened. Naruto said, a cheerful Hinata. Naruto turned around to see Hinata, only for his eyes to grow wide and brain to practically shut down. Hi why you wow, babbled Naruto, earning a giggle from Tenten and Hinata. Hinata was wearing a light blue kimono with lavender flower petals swirling up the kimono from the base. The obi that was tied around her waist was a midnight blue ribbon that matched the color of her hair and was tied in a bow in the back with the ends dangling down to about ankle length. As for her hair, Hinata had her hair pinned up in the back in kind of a loose bun with her bangs hanging down to frame her face as normal. Naruto, do you like how I look? Asked Hinata to a still frozen Naruto. It was at this time that Hanabi made her way out and gave Naruto a little nudge, snapping him out of his trance. Amazing, was all he could still manage to get out. This caused Hinata to blush and begin fiddling with her fingers in turn. Naruto immediately went over to Hinata, took her arms and went in for a kiss. Ahem, coughed Hiyashi as Naruto was stopped before he could give Hinata a kiss. Both Naruto and Hinata turned a bit red at that. Sorry, apologized Naruto, rubbing the back of his head. It appears as if you got here safely, so we won't have to worry about a repeat of 5 months ago, will we? Asked Hiyashi. No. No one tried to attack me or even call me demon, although I was almost scared that a mob would come running after me when I did hear someone yell out, demon, but that was just Tora hijacking some fish stand, replied Naruto. I don't know, I came straight through the main festival area and no one really seemed to mind. Very well, I have actually noticed that you seem to be more accepted by the village and I don't think you should have any issues tonight. As such, I will entrust Hinata's safety to you for the night. I expect her home unharmed by 11:30 at the latest, said Hiyashi. Yes, and thank you Hiyashi-sama, bowed Naruto. He and Hinata soon exited the clan compound on their way to enjoy the festival. They had about 4 hours to enjoy the festival itself before the fireworks started and Naruto already had a spot staked out to watch them from. Daddy, said Hanabi, tugging on her father's robes and trying to look as cute and innocent as possible. Hiyashi looked down at his youngest daughter. It was very rare that either of his daughters called him daddy. Usually, they referred to him as father. This immediately told him that Hanabi wanted something. I've never been to a festival. Can we go? Please. Hiyashi was actually a little surprised. The last time he had taken either of his daughters to a festival was when his wife was still alive and before Hanabi was born. Neither of them had mentioned anything about a festival until just recently. Perhaps that was due to him being extremely strict and they were both afraid that they would be scolded by him for asking to do such a thing. However, he had recently begun to change his whole outlook on his family and open up. Perhaps that's what prompted Hanabi to ask. I wonder if Shouta is still selling his batter fried tempura, thought Hiyashi out loud. Hanabi instantly smiled, knowing that her father was now considering going. Hanabi was already dressed in a dark red kimono, with gold and silver firework patterns exploding throughout the kimono. As Naruto and Hinata walked through the festival areas, they were already enjoying themselves. This wasn't like their first date where they sat in silence for the first hour. They were already laughing and playing with the big cone of cotton candy that Hinata had. The two would take turns feeding each other while a piece that got stuck on one another's lips or nose would give the other an excuse to give them a slight kiss. A few patrons noticed the happy couple and it wasn't so much Naruto who caught their attention, but Hinata. Most of these people remembered the shy and timid girl who was always unhappy with her life, but what was walking through the town was one who was genuinely happy and laughing. She was comfortable with herself and she showed it. For Naruto, no one was looking at him as a demon tonight. As a matter of fact, no one could see a hint of demon in the blonde that was walking down the street. There was no way a demon could be smiling and laughing like that. The couple came to a stand that sold festival masks and props and Naruto immediately went for a large white ceremonial wig. Mount Miyaboku's holy perverted sage, also known as Urosenin. I am the epitome of perviness, the one and only super pervert. I am Jiraiya, said Naruto, imitating Jiraiya's dance and introduction pose. earning multiple laughs from people observing. After mocking his teacher a little more, Naruto handed back the wig and he and Hinata picked out a pair of festival masks. Hinata's was a white tiger with black stripes on it. Naruto had spotted a mask that looked like a fox, but opted against it, not wanting to give the villagers a reason to ruin his night. Next to it was a reddish mask that resembled Gamabunta. He chose that one, and also felt it was more amusing for his date. Moving on, Naruto and Hinata continued down the street, only to be nearly flattened by Sasuke, wearing a solid dark blue kimono, who looked as if he was running for his life, and he was. Behind him was a horde of about half a dozen horny fangirls. Shadow Clone Jutsu, shouted Naruto, reacting quickly and creating about a dozen clones that were transformed into Sasuke around the original. The clones broke off in various directions, taking with the fangirls following behind, thinking their Sasuke was the real one. It's safe now, Sasuke breathed a sigh of relief as he came out from hiding behind one of the festival stands. I swear those fangirls are going to be the death of me, retorted Sasuke. Oh come on, they can't be that bad, said Naruto, receiving a death glare from his teammate. They're evil, I tell you. They truly are demon spawns, commented Sasuke. They're the same as those mobs that wanted to kill you on your birthday, only they want to rape me endlessly. Okay, said Naruto. Anyways, shouldn't you be picking Sakura up right now? I was going to, until I was ambushed, said Sasuke as he turned around to head back towards Sakura's home, Naruto and Hinata following. Sasuke knocked on the door of Sakura's house and it was a pink-haired man who answered. Sakura. There's a handsome young man waiting for you, Kazashi called out through the house. She'll be a few minutes, why don't the three of you come inside for a moment? Sasuke, Naruto, and Hinata stepped inside the Haruno's residence. It was fairly simple, but it had everything necessary for a comfortable home. As they took a seat, Naruto could feel the tension in the room. It was a tension he was very familiar with, having dealt with Hiashi before. For a few minutes, there was an awkward silence in the house as Kazashi and Sasuke just simply stared at each other. Well, I had to go through this already, I guess it's only fair he has to, thought Naruto. Is something bothering you? Haruno-san? Asked Sasuke. And so it begins, said Kurama. Yep, it'll be funny to see Sasuke sweat a little, thought Naruto. No, not much really. However, I do want to make one thing clear, said Kazashi, sending Sasuke that look, the one only a protective father could give. You see, Sakura is very precious to me, and as her father, I only want what's best for her. I want to see her happy and smiling. Do you get where I'm going? I do. You don't have to worry, sir, I won't do anything to harm or upset Sakura. That I promise, replied Sasuke. On the outside, his composure was perfect, but he was sweating heavily on the inside from whatever energy Kazashi was sending towards him. The best way to describe it would be fatherly intent, and it had the same effect as Ki did on Fresh Janan, only on a daughter's new boyfriend. Good, said Kazashi, as he began skillfully fiddling with a knife. Because if I find out that you've upset or disrespected my daughter in any form, I don't give a crap what the council says, you will be the last Uchiha. Am I clear? Why yes, sir, stuttered Sasuke. Kazashi had officially made it onto Sasuke's very short list of people he truly fears. Dad, are you scaring people again? Asked Sakura as she came down the stairs. Sasuke's reaction at that point practically mirrored Naruto's reaction when he first saw Hinata. Sakura saw Naruto, Hinata, and Sasuke in the living room. She waved to the already official couple in the room before turning to Sasuke. Sasuke, hi Sasama you, babbled Sasuke, causing Sakura and Hinata to giggle. It was at this time that Sasuke made his way over to Sakura. Sakura had on a white kimono with some blooming cherry tree branches on it while the wind blew some of the blossoms off with it. She had her hair up in a tight bun, as opposed to the loose one Hinata had, with two large hair pins holding it in place. Wow, glad I wasn't like that, commented Naruto. No, Sasuke didn't freeze up for 5 minutes afterwards, said Hinata as Naruto's head dropped in shame. Okay you four, get over here, called out Mebuki, holding a camera in her hand. A few pictures later and the four of them were out the door of the Haruno residence, much to Sasuke's relief. Sasuke cried a few shrieks that sent Sasuke cowering in fear behind Sakura. Before they could get any closer to Sasuke, they were stopped in their tracks by a massive key that was coming from Sakura. I suggest you leave, now, barked Sakura. She would give these fangirls one last chance before things got real ugly. One of the girls made a comment about their hair and how Sasuke could possibly like someone for having short hair. Actually, the funny thing about that whole Sasuke liking long hair rumor, said Naruto, grinning and rubbing the back of his head. I was actually the one to start it. All the fangirls looked over at Sasuke for some form of comfort, knowing that they had been pleasing Narutobaka instead of Sasuke. It's true, was all he said. The four of them were then able to walk away quietly from a devastated bunch of fangirls. On their way through the festival, the four of them ran into a pair they had never thought possible. Shikamaru? All four of them said simultaneously. Shikamaru simply groaned as a certain Suna blonde standing next to him merely waved at him. Wait, don't tell me the two of you are here on a date? Asked Naruto. Why would I want to go on a date with this troublesome woman, said Shikamaru. What was that, you lazy ass? Shouted Temari. It's not like you have to be here or anything. I wish, but the Hokage assigned me to act as an escort for you and your brothers while you're still here in Konoha, groaned Shikamaru. And then there was my mother. Sigh. Huh? What did your mother do? Asked Hinata. She found out about my assignment and immediately took it that I was going to take Temari on a date to the festival. Such a troublesome woman, complained Shikamaru, irritating Temari more. Like I said, you don't have to escort me, you lazy bum, said Temari. I know, but I don't want to have to deal with my mother, said Shikamaru. It was then that Temari noticed the masks on Naruto and Hinata's heads. Oh come on Shika, let's go find where they're selling those festival masks. Squealed Temari as she dragged a reluctant Shikamaru away. Shika? Asked Sakura. My ass, they aren't here on a date, commented Naruto. You know Shikamaru though, it'd be too troublesome for him to admit it, retorted Sasuke. It appears that would be a favorable assumption. Naruto, Hinata, Sakura, and Sasuke turned to see Shino in festival garments as well, with a certain green-haired kunoichi next to him. Shino's kimono was a simple solid black with silver trimmings, while Fu's was mint green around the shoulders, matching the color of her hair, and transitioning through a rainbow of colors until it was a sort of red-yellow mix at the base. Shino. Fu. Wait, are you two here on a date as well? Asked Naruto. If that is what you would call it, I won't deny, said Shino. Fu smiled and rested her head on Shino's shoulder. During her recovery time in the hospital and the move into the Aburame compound, Fu and Shino got to know each other a lot better, to the point where Shino offered to accompany her to the festival, as he put it. At this time, a firefly landed on the tip of Fu's nose as it lit up, causing everyone, except Shino, to laugh. It was starting to get later into the night and the sound of drums and music was beginning to make its way through the village. This meant that the parade was coming through and the fireworks would follow shortly after. His streets were usually crowded along the parade route, but, thankfully for Naruto and Hinata, the parade passed right by. Ichiraku Ramen and Tucci had been kind enough to allow them to watch the parade from the rooftop of the ramen shop. The parade was a spectacle full of floats, music, and dancing. Naruto did remember parades like this from observing them in the past, but nothing beat watching it with Hinata in his arms. As soon as the parade concluded, Naruto and Hinata were off. The conclusion of the parade indicated only about 30 minutes until the fireworks started, and they had to be sure to get their spot, seeing as Naruto was entitled to it in a way. Yes, that spot was none other than the Yondaime's head. The fireworks were shot from a training ground to the northeast of the mountain, giving them a nice view of the fireworks. You know, I'm going to miss this place, said Naruto as they sat down upon his father's head. This caused Hinata to sniggle into him a little for comfort. But I bet you're going to have lots of exciting stories to tell when you return, said Hinata. Yeah, I guess you're right. And you'll be the first one to hear those stories, said Naruto, getting a smile out of Hinata. Honestly, I'm really excited about this trip. 3 whole years to get stronger and see the world, but I kind of wish that I would have a chance to see my friends and you during those years. I know, and I don't like it that you have to leave, but I know you have to do so to get stronger, said Hinata. And don't worry, I'm going to get strong as well. I'm not going to let you take on everything alone. Thanks, Hein. I know you'll become stronger and you'll become even prettier than you are now, said Naruto, causing Hinata to blush at the compliment. In return, she moved in to give him the kiss that her father had denied them back at the compound, and the moment their lips met, fireworks exploded throughout the village. As their kiss came to an end, Naruto leaned back to rest against the rock as Hinata laid herself down on top of the blonde. 3 years without Naruto, all she wanted to do right now was cuddle closely to him and savor the remaining time they had together. Sasuke and Sakura had found a spot upon a higher branch in a large tree on top of a hill that overlooked the fireworks. The fireworks had already started and the pair was sitting side by side. At some point, Sasuke changed his posture so that he was leaning back against the trunk of the tree instead of just sitting on the branch. Sensing this, Sakura moved as well, realizing that Sasuke simply wanted to change the position they were sitting in and not trying to get away from her. It's now or never, thought Sakura nervously, as she got closer to where Sasuke was. She had to do it now as this was the perfect opportunity. Her heart began beating faster as she inched her way towards her longtime crush. However, before Sakura could make her move, Sasuke made his, pulling her into him, his hands wrapped around her waist, and pressing his lips softly, yet firmly against hers. It was finally happening. Something she had been dreaming about since the early days of the academy. Sasuke was actually kissing her. She felt like she was floating off into heaven at that very moment. Their lips slowly parted as Sakura readjusted herself so that she was now laying against Sasuke with her head resting against his chest. Sasuke wrapped his arm around her back and placed it on her waist as she wrapped her fingers around his hand. Sakura was the happiest she had ever been. That kiss left her fully satisfied, yet at the same time, begging for more. It was official, she and Sasuke were finally a couple. Cha! Take that all you psychotic bitches. I kissed Sasuke. He's mine, all mine. Cheered inner Sakura in celebration. As Sakura rested against him, Sasuke's head began spinning with thoughts. In the past, he had practically isolated himself. He isolated himself out of fear. Fear that Itachi would return and take everything he held close to him away. He was afraid that night would repeat itself. He had promised himself that he wouldn't move on until Itachi was dead, yet here he was with Sakura in his arms and he didn't want to let go. It was probably the first time since his mother was still alive that Sasuke actually felt warmth and love. So, Sasuke did the only thing he could do, he tightened his grip. I won't let him get you. I won't let Itachi take you away. That I swear, he thought. Sakura awoke drearily to a tapping on her window. Last night had been, by far, the best night of her life. She and Sasuke had officially become a couple the previous night. Last night had seemed like a dream that she never wanted to wake up from. However, the constant tapping on her window was saying otherwise. She peeled back the curtains to find a cheerful Ino standing on the balcony to her room. Hey Sakura, hurry and get dressed. There's something you don't want to miss, said Ino. Having no idea what Ino was talking about, Sakura simply went along with it, and minutes later, she was out. Honestly, she would have liked a bit longer to get ready, but the way Ino was nagging her, she really didn't have much time. So what's up? Asked Sakura. Oh, you'll just have to wait and see, teased Ino. The duo ran through Konoha until they came upon a familiar warehouse of sorts. Sakura instantly recognized this place, as this was where all the Sasuke fangirls would go after school in their attempts at getting either Sasuke or some possession of Sasuke's. During the academy years, the Sasuke fan club had practically turned this building into a place of worship to Sasuke, complete with a shrine to house all the relics that they had gathered. Why are we here? Asked Sakura. Sure, she and Sasuke might be a couple now, but the last thing she wanted to do was publicly announce it in front of the entire fan club, which she had come to despise. Shh, they'll be here any moment, hushed Ino as she and Sakura made their way to the top of the warehouse and looked in through a small window up there. As Sakura looked in through the window, she could obviously see that a large picture was covering the shrine, although she couldn't make out what the poster was. A few minutes passed and the 24 or so remaining members of the Sasuke fan club began to file in for their routine worship. The first thing that both Sakura and Ino saw nearly made them fall through the window in a fit of laughter. As a result of the truth behind the long hair being revealed, all the fangirls had overreacted and shaved their heads so that they were now practically bald. Sakura could barely breathe as her laughter continued. She knew the fangirls were going to react in some way to Naruto telling them that he was actually the one who started the rumor, but she never imagined they would go this far. No. Sasuke, why? Screamed the fangirls. They walked in to see the picture that had been left on their shrine and immediately dropped to their knees. Sakura was confused, but Ino couldn't stop laughing. What did you do? Asked Sakura. Ino handed Sakura a picture and now she understood why the fangirls were so devastated. Somehow, Ino had managed to snap a picture of the moment her and Sasuke had their first kiss. Ino. Sakura growled while cracking a fist. Oh come on Sakura, lighten up, pleaded Ino. Sakura took a deep breath to calm down as she looked at the picture. It was a nice picture and it actually gave her a memento of her first kiss, although she would never forget the way she felt. She looked over towards Ino, who was now shaking, before wrapping Sakura up in a hug. You did it. I'm so happy for you. Squealed Ino. Now come on, spill it. How was it? Like Sakura, Naruto was also rudely awakened by a knocking on his door. It was about 8 o'clock in the morning and this was one day where he had been hoping to sleep in a little, as he figured he would be putting as much time as possible into training during the next few years. After crawling out of bed, Naruto slipped and stumbled on some trash that he had lying around the floor. Damn, I've got to clean before I leave, he thought while putting on a pair of shorts and opening the door. Standing outside was a familiar face to him. Ko? What are you doing here? Asked Naruto to the Hyuga standing outside his door. I'm sorry to disturb you, Naruto, but Hiashi-sama has requested that you stop by the clan compound this afternoon to join him and his family for tea. He also mentioned that you have some artifacts from your trip to Uzushio-gakure that he would be most interested in seeing. In particular a certain sword and a scroll that you seem to have some across, said Ko. Okay, I'll come by this afternoon then, said Naruto. Very good, I will let Hiashi-sama know, bowed Ko, who also handed Naruto an envelope. Also, this was taped onto your door. Naruto took the envelope and closed the door as Ko left to inform Hiashi. Great, what does Hiashi want, now? Thought Naruto. He turned over the envelope and immediately saw a crude drawing of Jiraiya on the front. And what does Uro-Sennin want? Naruto took the letter out of the envelope and began reading. Naruto, I just wanted to let you know that we will be leaving tomorrow after lunch. I have already made arrangements with Suan to take care of your apartment, although I highly recommend cleaning it. For our trip, make sure you have everything that you will need for training. Below, I have made a list of what you should bring for training. 3 sets of shinobi clothes. Don't worry, I know a nice seal that can wash them. Your standard ninja gear, that Uzumaki sealing book and any other seals you may have from Uzushiogakur. Your sword and special knives, whatever basic necessities you may need. I also want you to go to the Konoha Jutsu library and get a few jutsu. There's a note in here that will allow you to select 2 wind jutsu up to B rank. I also want you to grab a simple C rank fire jutsu and a simple C rank water jutsu. I feel that fire will be easy to learn because of the furball in your stomach, and if I remember, the Uzumakas were quite proficient with water jutsu. This is all I'm going to give you for ninjutsu. If there are any other ninjutsu you wish to learn, they will either have to be Uzumaki clan jutsu if there are any more in those scrolls of yours, or you're going to have to make them yourself. Be ready, because when we leave, your training truly begins. Jiraiya, Kakashi was leaning against a tree, leisurely reading his Icha book until he felt a presence approach him. He looked up to see Guy standing there, giving one of his signature smiles and dragging a pouting and cross-armed Zabuza behind him. Oh crap! I'm leaving tomorrow? Shouted Naruto as he began freaking out. In a frantic manner, he began shoveling old instant ramen bowls into a trash bag and some dirty clothes into a second trash bag. Uro-Sennin did say he knows a seal to clean these, so I'll just seal them and bring them with me, he thought as he prepared to seal the bag full of dirty laundry in. When he went to get the laundry bag, something felt off. Oh crap, I tossed out the wrong bag, he said as he ran down to the trash room in his apartment complex to search for the bag of clothes he had thrown away by accident. A few minutes later, he returned back to his apartment, carrying the correct bag. Next on his agenda was to take a shower, especially considering he had just gone dumpster diving. After scrubbing the garbage off of himself, Naruto came back out a little more relaxed. He had managed to clean up all the trash off of his room, and all that was left was to wipe the kitchen down and toss out any food he wasn't going to be eating. Thankfully, he had just the method that worked. Shadow clone jutsu, he said, and 3 clones popped into existence. You guys know what to do, right? The clones nodded and went on to perform their assigned tasks. You know, if clones can be used for menial chores like this, then I wonder why Bakken doesn't use them to do paperwork? Thought Naruto out loud. Raw! Screamed Tsunade. Why doesn't this damn paperwork ever stop? Come on Tsunade-sama, it's not that bad, said Shizune, trying to comfort her master. Tsunade just shot her first apprentice a death glare. Fine, if you think it's not that bad, then why don't you try it? Shouted Tsunade, getting up from her seat and throwing Shizune into it. Shizune was now facing a mountain of paperwork. You see what I mean now? Hi, Tsunade-sama, said Shizune in defeat. For some reason, just sitting behind the desk made the paperwork look more intimidating than it originally was. Tsunade then proceeded to stomp over towards the pictures of the former 4 Hokages and looked directly at Minato's. How the hell did you do it? She growled at the picture. She knew that Sarutobi-sensei was swamped with paperwork, part of the reason why the civilian council had gained so much leeway, but Minato was a different story. It was widely known that Minato had discovered a way to combat the paperwork, and one of the biggest regrets Sarutobi had was not asking Minato to spill that secret before sealing the Kyuubi and sacrificing himself. Achoo! Sneezed Naruto. Why do I have this feeling some cranky old bat is buried underneath a mountain of paperwork? As it stood, his apartment was cleaned within 20 minutes, with clones taking care of the kitchen and bathroom. The real Naruto had begun inspecting everything that he was going to be taking. He had 3 pairs of his shinobi outfit, including the pair that he wore. This consisted of the black pants, sandals, vest, and orange long-sleeved shirt. There were also those bracers that he wore that had the kunai and shuriken seals on them. He had unsealed his sword from the Uzumaki sealing tome along with the scrolls that were not originally in there. It was also at this time where he remembered a promise he made to Sakura and began pulling out any scroll that has to do with medicine. You know, I need to figure out a way to modify them again to hold those knives Uro-Sennin gave me. He gave me 5 of them, so that means 1 knife for each element. Now I just need to remake the seal so that I can easily access them when needed, contemplated Naruto, looking at his bracers. I'll work on them while I'm away. Time to go and get those jutsu. I can't believe Uro-Sennin's actually going to teach me fire and water jutsu. I'm going to be super awesome when I come back. With that, Naruto took off towards the Konoha archives where he would get those jutsu, and then he would probably find Sakura and give her the scrolls. Afterwards, it would be time to meet up with Yashi. Yeah, he was going to be busy today. As he was leisurely walking through the village, Naruto couldn't help but notice the rock that was following him. He's still not getting any better, is he? Thought Naruto. Nope, replied Kurama. Naruto sighed. I know it's you, Konohamaru. Just what I'd expect from my rival. Shouted Konohamaru as an explosion sent the box flying upwards, revealing Konohamaru. Well, at least he got the gunpowder correct this time, thought Naruto. Yes, but now he's got to work on the trajectory of the box, said Kurama. Naruto just stared, confused by this. Look up. Naruto did so to see the box, which was originally shot upwards, begin to fall back down. Now come on. You said, ouch, shouted Konohamaru as the box landed square on his head. You want help with the shadow clone? Just to finish Naruto while Konohamaru was rubbing the bump on his head. Yes. I've almost got it, shouted Konohamaru. Naruto sighed. This day was busy enough as it was. Fine, but I've got a few things that I need to do first. Meet me at Ichiraku's at 6 o'clock and I'll help you a little after dinner, said Naruto. You've got it, Naruto Niiken. Saluted Konohamaru. Now, shouldn't you be in class? Iruka-sensei's going to get pretty mad that you're skipping, said Naruto. What? Nah, he's perfectly fine with it. He won't even, said Konohamaru with a suspicious look on his face. All this time, Naruto was trying to hold back the laughter and looking directly behind Konohamaru. He's right behind me, isn't he? Naruto nodded. Konohamaru, shouted Iruka, using his big head no jutsu. Why aren't you in class? I was just transform, shouted Konohamaru. When the smoke cleared, in Konohamaru's place stood a busty young woman with thin wisps of smoke that barely covered the private areas of the female body. Iruka twitched as he fought back the oncoming rush of blood from his nose. From his experiences with Naruto back in the academy, he had built up a sort of resistance to the basic form of the sexy jutsu. Cut out the nonsense and get back to class, shouted Iruka. Konohamaru sighed in defeat and dispelled the transformation. Don't worry, Konohamaru, I'll still meet up with you later, said Naruto as Konohamaru began walking back towards the academy. Konohamaru smiled. Right. See you then, boss. Naruto turned and grinned to Iruka. Sorry about that. It's kind of my fault he can use that, said Naruto, rubbing the back of his head. Iruka merely sighed. Just, never mind, said Iruka. I guess you're leaving tomorrow? Yeah. Oh, and before I forget, here's your vest, said Naruto, taking off Iruka's vest. Hey Iruka-sensei, think we can grab Ichiraku one last time during your lunch break? It'll be the last time before I leave. Sure, said Iruka as he walked back towards the academy to deal with the second generation of Naruto. Walking past the Hokage tower, Naruto just barely avoided a chair that came flying out of the window. What's got Bakunin's panties in a bundle? He thought, looking over at the chair, which somehow had an anime-style lump on it. Naruto just shrugged and continued on his way to the Jutsu archives to get his jutsu before heading to find Sakura and then over to the Hyugas. At the Jutsu library, he found a handful of jutsu that he wanted to learn, especially now that Jiraiya was opening him up to both water and fire elements. However, since he was leaving the village, he was only limited to what was written on the note Jiraiya had given him. The first wind jutsu he got was a jutsu called Futon, Swallow Strike, and the second was one called Futon, Jade Storm Gale. He remembered Asuma-sensei mentioning the last one, although he never taught it to him. But Naruto found it interesting that he could use wind chakra to manipulate his weapons. The fire jutsus were relatively simple, given what he had to work with, so he just went with one that was familiar to him, and that was Sasuke's Kaden. Great Fireball Jutsu. The water jutsu was the same way, and he went with something simple to start off with, choosing the Suten Water Jet. They were nothing too flashy, but he figured they would serve as a good base for him to branch out. Perhaps Kurama knew some fire jutsu, and maybe some of those Uzumaki scrolls contained a water jutsu or two, since that was where he found his futon. Heaven's Hammer and the Uzumakis were mainly either wind or water users in terms of ninjutsu. Okay, now that I got my jutsu, off to find Sakura and give her those medical scrolls, thought Naruto. Is something wrong? Asked Sakura. The two were enjoying lunch at the local tea and dengo shop. Sakura could obviously see that something was bothering her friend. Sakura, why did you decide to become a med nin? Asked Ino. Huh? Why do you ask? Replied Sakura. It's just, I want to become stronger, but I don't really know where to begin, said Ino. Sakura merely smiled at this. I wanted to become a menin because that's where I felt I would succeed and be the most useful. When I was first starting off as a Jinan, Sensei had told me that I already had excellent chakra control, and he began teaching me a little bit of genjutsu. However, a few months later, he gave me a book on basic medical techniques. While I found both of them interesting, it was the medical jutsu that really piqued my interest. After that whole event with the sound, I realized just how far behind I had let myself get. I was useless during that fight and I nearly got Sasuke and myself killed. Honestly, if I hadn't been in the way there, Naruto and Sasuke probably could have taken those freaks. But because of me, Sasuke and I nearly died, and the only reason we lived was because of, well, Naruto's tenant, said Sakura, recalling the painful memories of that day. Afterwards, I knew I couldn't just sit back and fawn over Sasuke. I had to push myself to become stronger, and that was when I asked Tsunade Shishu to take me as an apprentice. I see, but from how the exams went, you were amazing with the genjutsu. Are you just going to toss that aside and become a medic? Asked Ino. Nope. I know it will be a lot of work, but I asked Kurenai Sensei if she could continue to give me a few genjutsu lessons. I need to become as strong as I can get, and if that means learning both medical jutsus and genjutsu, then so be it. I need to use these 3 years to get as strong as I can before everything begins, said Sakura. Huh? What's going to begin in 3 years? Asked a confused Ino. Oh, that. Sakura's expression changed from a cheerful and determined expression to one a bit sadder. Both Sasuke and Naruto are being targeted by some really powerful enemies. That's why they are going on their trips. I won't let them face those enemies alone, and I won't let myself get in the way. I see, said Ino, matching Sakura's expression. Well, count me in then. Huh? Said a confused Sakura. What? You really don't think I'm going to let you get ahead of me? I thought you were smarter than that. Billboard playfully taunted Ino. TSK, I'm already miles ahead of you, Ino pig. Responded Sakura. Both girls began butting head like old times, but then burst out in a fit of laughter. Hey Sakura, what do you think I would be good in? Asked Ino. What? You honestly don't know? Sakura stiffened at the voice who just said that. She had gotten enough punishment from said voice in the past month or so. Turning around, both girls were face to face with Anko. Hey Anko-sensei? Asked Sakura, the one and only sexiest kunoichi in Konoha. Oh, and how's my cute little rabbit doing today? Grinned Anko as she finished off a stick of dengo. For some reason, Anko had started referring to Sakura as rabbit during their training. It was most likely due to the way Anko would have her snakes chase Sakura around, kind of like they were chasing a rabbit, during the training. Sakura in turn, stiffened at that word. So, you don't know what to do ya? Well, just look at where you come from. You're a Yamanaka, which means interrogations in your blood. Ino tilted her head slightly. She was aware of that, with her dad being the top interrogator in Konoha, but she had never really considered going into interrogation. Ino, I think Anko actually makes a good point. Weren't you solely responsible for your team passing the first test? Yeah, I guess I was. Ino smiled proudly. I also heard what you did to that prisoner afterwards. Oh, that was evil, and brilliant. Grinned Anko with a sadistic smile. What? He was a piece of trash who raped a girl. He had it coming, defended Ino, and that's exactly why you belong in interrogation and infiltration. You know how to get the information and you know how to make them suffer appropriately, said Anko. So what do you say, Piglet? Huh? You heard me. You've got potential to become a sexy and kick-ass interrogator, said Anko as some sort of pager went off. Well, I've got to go make some bastards suffer. Talk to your father about it and get back to me when you've decided, Piglet. So what do you think, Sakura? Asked Ino. While Anko-sensei can be scary, I'd say go for it. She was right in saying that you do have potential in interrogation, and I think it would be your best course of action, said Sakura. However, I can ask Shizune if you can learn some basic medical jutsu as well, and now that I think of it, some medical knowledge might come in handy for interrogation. Well, I've got to get back as well, but honestly think about it. It's not an easy process deciding what you want to dedicate yourself towards, said Sakura. On her way back to meet Tsunade, Sakura ran into Naruto. Sakura, shouted Naruto, getting her attention. Hey, Naruto greeted Sakura. What's going on? Packing's a pain in the ass, but it's getting there, replied Naruto. Right, so when are you leaving? Asked Sakura. Tomorrow after lunch, replied Naruto. Wow, it's going to get really quiet after tomorrow then. Sasuke's leaving then as well, said Sakura. Do you know where he's going? Asked Naruto. Not exactly, but I guess there was some mention of specialized Onbu training bases scattered throughout Fire Country. My guess is to one of those, said Sakura. So what are you up to now? Well, I was looking for you to give these to you, he said, pulling out a bundle of scrolls. And then I've got to go meet Hiashi for some reason. Sakura opened the scrolls. They are the medical sealing scrolls I found in Uzushiogakur. You shouldn't have to worry about using them, as those scrolls can be used by anyone. If by some chance, you need Uzumaki blood to open one or two of them, just ask Bakken. She should be able to do it, said Naruto. That's right. Suan Shishu does have a little bit of Uzumaki blood, doesn't she, commented Sakura. Naruto nodded. Thanks, and make sure you stop by the hospital sometime before you leave tomorrow to say goodbye. Don't worry, I will, said Naruto as he walked off towards the Hyuga compound. Yeah, things really are going to get quiet around here, thought Sakura. Or would they? What the hell is he thinking of now? Commented Zabuza. Yosh. Time to find out whose youth is stronger, shouted Guy. Guy turned to Kakashi. Let's go, Kakashi. Huh? Did you say something, Guy? Said Kakashi, completely ignoring Guy. Gah. Your hipness really does get on my nerves, Kakashi. No wonder you are my eternal rival, yelled Guy. Help me, thought Zabuza. You are leaving tomorrow, so what better time than to have one last youth-filled challenge, declared Guy as he pulled out 3 special suits that had Zabuza holding a kunai just inches away from his Konoha headband. Kakashi sighed. Okay, let's do this then. Doten, Risen Field of Battle Jutsu, said Kakashi, slamming his hands into the ground. Immediately, the ground shook as the piece of earth that the 3 eternal rivals were on rose 100 feet into the air. The 3 of them were now standing atop a tall earthen pillar with a flat circular top, about 30 feet in diameter. Now hurry and put these on so we may begin our youth-filled battle, said Guy, tossing the suits to Zabuza and Kakashi and hurried them to put it on. He practically had to put on Zabuza's suit for him. So we are wearing a couple of baggy suit? What the hell are we supposed to do with these? Growled Zabuza. Guy gave his signature smile and grabbed the cord on the side of the suit. As he pulled it, a compressed air cartridge was released and the suit immediately began to fill with air. Oh hell no, shouted Zabuza when he saw what Guy was thinking. Guy tossed them a couple of inflatable sumo suits and the 3 of them looked like a couple of blown up balloons wearing mawashis. Last man who doesn't get pushed off the edge wins. And that will be me. For if I don't, I will run 500 laps around Konoha on my hands while balancing Tenten on my feet. Somewhere else in Konoha, achoo. Sneeze Tenten. Are you okay, Tenten? Asked Neji. You're not catching a cold, are you? No, but why do I have the feeling Guy Sensei just dragged me into one of his ridiculous antics? Replied Tenten. Lee. Start it, shouted Guy as Lee jumped in the middle of the 3 sumo ninjas out of nowhere. Hi, Guy Sensei, said Lee. In this youthful competition, this is solely a competition of the body. No ninjutsu, no genjutsu, only taijutsu. If you are knocked out of the arena and onto the ground below, you are out. The last one remaining will win. Now, with all your youth, Hajime. As soon as Lee signaled the start of the match, Guy was racing towards Zabuza at full speed, colliding with him and causing the former Kiri ninja to bounce off of him and almost off the field of battle. No way in hell am I losing to a bloated buffoon, growled Zabuza. Despite the ridiculousness of this competition, his pride was still at stake here. He slid to a halt just before the edge of the arena came only to be locked hand in hand with Kakashi. So I guess this is the closest I'll get to a rematch for now, said Zabuza. Yep, replied Kakashi. Well then, don't expect to beat me this time around, said Zabuza, rooting himself and throwing Kakashi back into a charging Guy. The 2 bounced off each other and Guy was nearly thrown off. It seems there's some youth in my second eternal rival after all, declared Guy. Let's go, Kakashi. It seems like it's going to take our youth combined to bring down this challenger, said Guy, giving Kakashi the thumbs up. Oh sorry Guy, did you say something? Asked Kakashi as Guy began to heat up. That's the second time already that your coolness has got the better of me. You truly are a worthy rival, Kakashi, said Guy. Humph, fine. If you're not going to make a move, I will, declared Zabuza as he began to charge Kakashi and Guy. Unfortunately for him, he tripped on a pebble which caused him to fall. However, thanks to the suit, his fall turned into a roll as Zabuza barreled towards them as Kakashi and Guy just sat there like a pair of bowling pins. Zabuza collided with the Cyclops and Green Beast and the 2 were thrown out of the arena with a crashing sound. A dizzy Zabuza came to a halt just before rolling off of the arena. Both Kakashi and Guy were flung into some trees where they landed on top of each other in the form of an X. Oog, I feel sick, said Zabuza as he made his way to his wobbly feet. He then looked around and saw that he was the last one standing. Hey, told you I wouldn't lose to a bunch of blown up buffoons. As Zabuza made his way down from the platform, Guy stumbled over to him. Yosh. You truly are a worthy rival. It's a shame Kakashi won't be here to partake in our youth-filled battles for the next 3 years. But no worries, you and I will only have to step up our competitions to make up for Kakashi's missing youth. Zabuza's mind blanked momentarily at the horrors that he just realized he had been condemned to. No, hey, sorry Zabuza, Zabuza? Asked Kakashi, a smiling rubbing his head in an almost Naruto-ish fashion. Kakashi. Growled Zabuza. It didn't take a Sharingan to see the demon-like aura that was surrounding Zabuza. I'm going to beat the crap out of you so hard that you'll be forced to stay in this village. Kakashi just sweat dropped as he began to run for his dear life from an enraged Zabuza swinging his Kubi Kiribocho wildly in the air at Kakashi. "Father, what are we doing down here?" asked Hinata. Her father had taken her down into the cellar below the Hyuga compound for some unknown reason. "Don't worry, there are just some things down here that I want to get out of storage," said Hyashi as he opened a door. When Hinata stepped inside the room, she immediately knew what was in there. The first thing she saw was a portrait of her mother and father holding her as a baby. "These are, yes, everything in here was your mother's," said Hyashi. "I don't know why I locked everything of hers away, perhaps it just hurt too much to be without her." And then, the Hyuga head did something no one would ever expect him to do. He cried while he hugged his daughter. I'm sorry for everything I've done to hurt you since she left. I never should have pushed my pain onto you. Please forgive me for the way I acted." Hinata was surprised by her father's apology, but she returned the hug. "It's okay, Dad. I will always forgive you, thank you. Now, can I please have a few moments alone?" he said. Hinata stepped outside the room, leaving her father alone to his thoughts. Inside, Hyashi turned to another portrait that was hanging on a wall off to the side. This was the only family portrait that Hyashi had with both Hinata and Hanabi in it. It was painted just a few days before his wife passed. Despite knowing she was dying, that portrait was the happiest she had ever looked. "I'm sorry it's been so long. I've missed you and I still do," Hyashi said to the image of his late wife. "I screwed up, and I almost screwed up to the point where I wouldn't be able to fix things. I neglected our daughter's happiness for the sake of my own pride and I feel disgusted by that. I hope that you can forgive me as I'm now going to do everything I can to ensure our daughters grow strong and happy. On that, I swear. Hikari, I will not neglect our daughters any longer." Taking a deep breath, Hyashi called in Hinata. Looking around, Hinata was happy to see that there were still things of her mother's that were in here. She was afraid that her father had trashed or destroyed everything to help alleviate the pain of losing her. Hyashi handed a smaller picture frame, about the size of an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper to Hinata. It was a picture of her when she was 4 with just her mother. The two were sitting in her mother's garden, both with genuinely warm smiles on their faces. Hinata's smile at that moment practically mimicked that from the picture as she took it from him. "If you want, you can hang that one in your room. I have one of just after Hanabi was born that I'll give to your sister when she gets back from school, and I think I'm going to hang the big one in my study," said Hyashi. Hinata was overjoyed. Before this year, she was basically not allowed to have any decorations in her room as the clan didn't feel she deserved them. But now her father was practically shoveling things to decorate her room with into her hands. Hyashi walked over to a decorated chest and opened it to see what was inside. It's still in pristine condition, just like the day she wore it, he thought. He then looked at the contents of the chest and then over to Hinata. "Maybe someday, but not today. I'll give it to her when that time comes around." After looking through some of the old family memorabilia, Hyashi then began to dive into some of his wife's old shinobi scrolls and gear. Hinata curiously picked up a black book that most ninja knew as a bingo book. "Hey, that old thing," said Hyashi as he turned to a certain page in the book. He then handed it to Hinata and she read it through. Name: Tsukino Hikari. Age: 23. Gender: female. Village affiliation: Kanahagakura no Sato. Rank: Jonin. Nickname: Midnight Tigress. Known associates: Crimson Fury, Nighthawk. Rank: A+. Skills: a highly advanced taijutsu user who utilizes a unique style of taijutsu known as the Meisho. She is also a highly skilled wind user. Not much else is known, as encounters against her do not last long enough to gather sufficient data. Other: use extreme caution when confronting. Recommended not to engage unless in a team of 3 or more high Jonin level shinobi. Do not engage in close combat unless absolutely necessary. Hinata looked at the entry again and then to the picture listed in the bingo book. In the picture, Hinata saw a woman who looked like herself, only with longer hair and eyes that matched the color of her hair. That was while we were still dating and before we got married. Getting into the books was probably the biggest accomplishment to her, explained Hyashi. She probably could have made S rank, but she opted to settle down and start a family. Hinata was shocked. She had never imagined her mother was such a skilled kunoichi, but that only made her want to be more like her mother, a woman who was strong yet kind. "Hyashi-sama," called out Ko, appearing at the front of the room. "An Uzumaki Naruto is here to see you." "I see. Thank you, and tell him I will be there," momentarily said Hyashi. "I'll take this to my study and then we'll go see Naruto." Hyashi lifted the large portrait of his entire family from the wall it was hung on, only to reveal a hidden compartment from behind the picture with a rather large scroll behind it. "Hinata, will you get that scroll?" Hyashi was curious as to what that scroll was. It was white with some intricate kind of stripe-like markings on it. He would look at it later, but right now there was a certain blonde in the compound who you did not want to get bored. "Hey! Hinata!" called out Naruto from across the courtyard as he saw Hinata and her father emerge from the cellar. Hinata smiled and waved, but Naruto's attention was drawn to the scroll in Hinata's hands. "Wow! Where'd you get that summoning contract?" Summoning contract? Asked a curious Hinata, looking down at the scroll. Hiyashi was equally confused until he finally realized what Naruto was talking about. Of course. Now I know what that scroll is. It's your mother's summoning contract, said Hiyashi, lightly bopping his forehead with his palm. And mother had a summoning contract? Asked Hinata, surprised. Yes, hold on, let me go put these old pictures in the house, said Hiyashi. A few minutes later, he emerged and Hinata was still staring at the scroll, wondering what sort of summon it was. So Hinata, where did you get it and are you going to sign it? Asked Naruto. Sign it? Asked Hinata. It was her mother's and yes, if she wants she can sign it, said Hiyashi. Hinata smiled at this as she placed the scroll on the ground and unfurled it. On the scroll, there were 4 blank name boxes on the scroll, indicating that there were no living summoners of the scroll. So what do I do? Well, first you sign your name in blood and then press all 5 fingerprints down in one of those areas, said Naruto, already knowing how summoning contracts work from Urosenin. Hinata did as Naruto said and bit her finger. Okay, now you rub some blood on your fingers and make the signs I, Inu, Tori, Saru, Hitsuji. And then you slam our hand downward like this. Summoning jutsu. Yo, Naruto called out Gamikachi. Since the last time Naruto had summoned Gamikachi, the small orange toad had grown quite a bit to the point where he was now almost up to Naruto's waist in height. What's up? Got any snacks? Naruto's sweat dropped slightly at this before unsealing a package of snacks for Gamikachi. I was just showing Hinata here how to do a summoning jutsu. She just found a contract. Oh, a new summoner. Come on let's see, said Gamikachi. Hinata blushed slightly at all the attention that was focused on her, but did as Naruto said. Summoning jutsu. Smoke appeared where Hinata placed her hand and when it cleared, a medium-sized orange tiger, which was slightly smaller than a large dog, appeared. It's been a while, Hikari. Wait, you're not Hikari, said the tiger, staring at Hinata. Hikari? Why, you knew my mother? Asked Hinata. Well, that would explain why you look a lot like her then, said the tiger. Wow, exclaimed Hanabi as she walked through the gate to the Hyuga compound to see Hinata in the courtyard with a tiger. Did you summon him, Nizan? Hinata smiled and nodded. I take it you are their father and the younger girl is my summoner's sister? Asked the tiger to Hiyashi. Hiyashi nodded. And Hikari? I'm sorry, but she passed away some years ago due to health complications, said Hiyashi solemnly. I see, then I am sorry for your loss. She was a great friend and most respected summoner, said the tiger. Hey Isamu, is that you? Asked Gamikachi. Ha, you two know each other? Asked Naruto. We've met once, said Isamu. How's the old toad doing? Still grumpy as ever, joked Gamikachi. Good to hear he's still croaking, joked Isamu. Gamikachi laughed a little at that. Now, I take it the reason I was summoned was to enter into a contract with, said Isamu. Hyuga, Hinata, said Hinata. Yes, Hinata. Now I remember. Hikari mentioned that name when she was still pregnant with her fifth child, said Isamu. I then take it you were that child. Very well then, we of the Byakko clan will agree to enter into a summoning contract with you. Hinata smiled at this. Thank you, Isamu-san, bowed Hinata. It's nothing. We look forward to working with the daughter of Hikari, said Isamu before disappearing. Yay! Nizan got a summoning contract. Cheered Hanabi. Now, why don't we go inside for some tea, said Hiyashi as he gestured for Naruto and his daughters to go inside. Naruto, did you bring the items I asked for? I think so. All the scrolls and everything I got in Uzu I keep sealed in my book, so I should have everything, said Naruto. Hiyashi nodded as they went inside. The four of them sat around a table in a somewhat awkward silence for the first few minutes. So Hiyashi-sama, is there any reason in particular why you invited me over? Asked Naruto. Honestly, after remembering Sasuke's encounter with Kazashi, he probably should have kept his mouth shut. No, nothing in particular. From my understanding, you will be leaving tomorrow and I thought this would give up one last time to talk before you left, said Hiyashi. Okay, so what is it you want to talk about? Asked Naruto. Does it have anything to do with my sword and some of my scrolls? In a way, yes. However, there is a question I want to ask you first, said Hiyashi. Do you still intend to continue a relationship with my daughter? The entire room was silent for at least a minute. What? Why would you ask that? Of course I still want to be with Hinata, T-by-O. Declared Naruto. Hinata let out a breath that she had been holding ever since her father asked that question. I just need to be sure, you see. Hiyashi was interrupted. Hiyashi-sama, I have finished sharpening the Hyuga sword and it is ready for your inspection, said one of the servants, who came over to Hiyashi and handed him a sword wrapped in cloth and an extra fine grade whetstone. Immediately, Naruto stiffened as Hiyashi pulled the sword out from the cloth wrapping. Hiyashi examined the sword while Naruto began sweating. A fine job you did. The fine-tuning shouldn't take too much then, said Hiyashi. He always liked to do the fine-tuning himself to get the sword the way he liked it. The servant bowed and left the room as Hiashi set the sword on his lap and began filing it with the whetstone in his hand. Now Naruto, the reason I asked was because, well, you know how sensei is. Naruto nodded nervously as every pass with the whetstone caused Naruto to stiffen even more. So this is why Hiashi asked me to come, help panic Naruto. Hee. This ought to be interesting, thought Kurama. I just need to make sure your loyalties lie undoubtedly with my daughter, said Hiashi with a stern look on his face as he glared into Naruto's very soul. If you wish to continue your relationship with my daughter, I just need to make a few things clear. Naruto gulped as Hiashi dragged the whetstone along the sword. First, I know very well that there will be certain temptations along your trip and you will meet many other women. It would be wise remember that my daughter is the only girl in your universe. Any women you may encounter along the trip, you should act as formal and neutral as possible. Second, you will be reaching that age very soon where young men begin to become interested in certain aspects of women. I suggest you refrain from picking up any of sensei's less desirable habits. And lastly, understand that the Hyuga clan only recognizes the strong. While your recent accomplishments may have shown that you have some potential, you still have a long way to go before I see you at a satisfactory level, said Hiashi, as he made one last pass along the sword with the whetstone. He then felt the blade with his finger and proceeded to pluck a hair from his head. Using nothing more than gravity, Hiashi spit the hair straight down the middle with the sword. Perfect. He then looked over towards Naruto, who was now sweating profusely with his legs clenched tightly together and hands clasped over a certain area. Do you understand where I'm coming from? I do, said Naruto frantically, not taking his eyes off the very object, and man holding said object, that could very well end his future dreams at any moment. I won't do anything to disappoint you, sir. Good, said Hiashi as he sheathed the sword, much to Naruto's relief. Both Hanabi and Hinata were giggling at the way Naruto and their father were interacting. Now, as Ko informed you, there are a few items in your possession that I would like the opportunity to examine. In particular, a sword you may possess and what sensei has informed me as a family tree. Oh, so that's the scroll you want to see, said Naruto as he pulled out his Uzumaki sealing book and released two of the seals he made in the back. The first was his own sword, which he was hesitant to hand over to Hiashi after the previous episode. The second seal contained the Uzumaki family tree scroll and also the quadrilateral Uzukage hat that he came across. Is that? Asked Hiashi, looking at the hat. Naruto grinned. Yep. It's my great-grandfather's hat. Smiled the blonde. Well, that just about answers that question, thought Hiashi. Naruto handed the scroll to Hiashi, who opened it up. On that scroll, most of the names were faded slightly, indicating that person had passed. The only name that was highlighted on that scroll was Naruto's. The scroll worked so that when someone placed a small bit of blood in the seal on the lower right-hand corner of the seal, the seals in the scroll would immediately match up the person with the correct family tree. Once that person passed away, the name would remain, but it would fade to preserve the record while indicating that said person was deceased. So it is true, the main branch does still live, said Hiashi. Huh? Naruto looked at Hiashi confused. What are you talking about? Didn't sensei tell you? I take it you know who your great-grandfather was, asked Hiashi. Yeah, he was the Shodai Uzukage, said Naruto. While that is true, I am talking from more of a clan perspective. In short, you are the last surviving member of the head family of the Uzumaki clan, said Hiashi. Wait, what? Asked a surprised Naruto. I said, you are the heir to the Uzumaki clan, repeated Hiashi. Okay, so what exactly does that mean? Asked Naruto. Well, first is that you'll have access to the head family's techniques. Every clan has some form of head family technique. Even the Hyuga has a set of head family techniques, said Hiashi. It will also make it easier for the clan to accept the relationship between you and my daughter. Head family techniques? You mean like the Kaiten and Juken, 8 trigrams 64 palms, right? And how exactly will this make our relationship easier? Asked Naruto. No. Those are main branch techniques, known by every member of the main branch, and Neji. There are a set of techniques that one and one alone know as head of the clan, and the only other person I will pass them down to would be Hanabi when she shows that she's ready, explained Hiashi. The head of a clan needs to be the strongest member of the clan so that they can effectively guide the clan and protect it when needed. That's why each clan has their own set of techniques that only the head family knows. If my suspicions are correct, then the Uzumaki head family techniques are in that book of yours. Wow, really? So the strongest Uzumaki techniques are in here? Asked Naruto. Hiashi nodded. This is awesome. I'm going to become really strong. Watch out, Konoha, because when I come back, there'll be a new Hokage in town, T-Bio. Now, regarding your question about your current relationship. Now that Hinata is no longer the clan head, the elders will most likely be looking for suitable suitors to marry Hinata off to in order to increase clan relations, said Hiashi. While certain village laws prohibit an arranged marriage without the consent of both parties, it will still be annoying nonetheless. With your status as an heir to a powerful clan, I can use that to keep the elders at bay. Marry? Stuttered both Naruto and Hinata in surprise. Hinata instantly went red at the thought of marrying Naruto. Don't worry. She won't be getting married anytime soon. She's far too young as it is, said Hiashi. And as I said before, you may have potential, but you are still a long way away before you gain my approval. Hinata let out a disappointed sigh and Naruto let out a sigh of relief. Hinata was disappointed that her and Naruto wouldn't be getting married anytime soon, and while Naruto liked Hinata and enjoyed being with her, he was by no means ready to go that far with a relationship yet. Now then, about that sword, said Hiashi. Alright, said Naruto, reluctantly putting another blade in Hyashi's hands. Hiashi unsheathed the katana and began examining it thoroughly until he was satisfied. I honestly never would have thought this sword would ever be seen again, said Hiashi. The Uzumaki Shio no Ken. Wait, so you know about it as well? Asked Naruto. I've heard of it. It's a legendary sword that ranks right up there with the Raijin, some of the more powerful 7 swords of the mist, and potentially even the sword of Kusanagi, said Hiashi. That I kind of know already. So Uro-Sennin said it had some sort of special ability. Do you have any idea what it might be? Asked Naruto. Hiashi shook his head. Sadly, I do not. I've only heard the legends of it, but nothing about its abilities. However, this sealing matrix inscribed on the blade is very intricate and highly complex. I would imagine if you were to examine it, you might come across some clues as to what it can do. Okay. I guess that'll have to do for now then, said Naruto, taking back the sword. The 4 people there continued on with a little discussion regarding around what they were going to do over the next 3 or so years. Hinata had mentioned that she wanted to look some more into her mother's techniques and further develop her Jushu style, which everyone felt that was a good goal. Hiashi saw that the Jushu had potential, and if Hinata were to expand upon it more, there was really no telling what it was capable. Hanabi, who was entering her 2nd year in the academy, didn't have too much on her mind, but she knew that since she was officially named the clan heiress, her father would be putting her through hell to train her. Hiashi was trying to devise more ways in which to limit the elder's influence even more, and also what sort of brutal training regimens he should put Hanabi through to get her up to the standards of a clan head. Time eventually came where Naruto had to move on and finish whatever errands promises he still had to keep. Before leaving, Naruto could see the sad look on Hinata's face. She wasn't ready to say goodbye to him for a few years, and Naruto figured he would have to do something to try and cheer her up. Hey Hinata, I don't suppose I could ask a favor of you? Asked Naruto. Hinata picked her head up to look at Naruto. Whatever it is, you can ask me, said Hinata sweetly. Naruto then took out his book again and placed the unsealed Uzumaki hat on her head. Think you can look after my hat for me? Asked Naruto. That way, I'll have to come back to you to get it. Think of it as me promising that I will return to you. Hinata cheerfully smiled. I'll hold you to that promise. And I'll keep it, no matter what, declared Naruto. He tried to go in for a kiss, but was stopped in his tracks by a glaring Hiashi. I'll leave tomorrow just after lunch. You'll know where to find me. Just stop by after training. Hinata nodded. She would get one last kiss out of him before he left, but with her father around, it wasn't going to happen today. As Naruto was walking through the village, he received a few greetings from some of the villagers, indicating that the really were beginning to open up to him. He also passed some of Konoha's bathhouses, which was on the way from the Hyuga compound, and sitting on top of one of the houses was Jiraiya, telescope in hand and giggling pervertedly. Why do I have a feeling Hyashi's going to kill me when I come back? Thought Naruto, looking up towards Jiraiya, again, who had just been noticed by the women in the bath and was now dodging countless objects being thrown at him. Oh yeah, because Uro-Sennin's the biggest pervert in the world. Great, what the hell am I getting myself into? He finally came to the gate of the village where he saw the Suna trio and Shikamaru. So you guys are leaving, huh? Asked Naruto as he walked up to them. Yup. About time we get back to our own village. We've still got to find out if either of these two made Chunin, said Kankuro, pointing to his brother and sister. Really? Well, good luck to both of you, said Naruto. It was now time to have a little fun. So what did you think of the festival last night? It was great. I'll say, you Konoha people sure know how to celebrate, said Temari. Good, I'm glad you and Shika had fun together, said Naruto with Shikamaru shooting him. Look. The two of you actually looked kind of cute together. What? Objected Temari. Kankuro was trying to hold back a laugh, and even Gaara had a smile on his face. Like I'd ever go out with that lazy bum over there. Troublesome blondes, retorted Shikamaru. Hey, shouted both Naruto and Temari. Damn, she's a feisty one, thought Shikamaru. Oh come on now. You can't tell me you two enjoyed snuggling together last night, said Naruto. Both Shikamaru and Temari turned a little red. How the hell did he find out about that? I thought we were alone, both Temari and Shikamaru thought. One of Naruto's Sasuke clones had escaped his fangirl last night and decided to take a stroll around town before dispelling. After racking up Naruto a large bill at Ichiraku, the clone somehow stumbled upon the two lying on a hill with Temari in Shikamaru's arms. Naruto was mad at the clone for the Ichiraku splurge, but figured that little bit of dirt was well worth it. "Why, you little runt?" growled Temari, reaching for her fan. Before she could use it to clobber Naruto, Gaara had used his sand to save his first true friend. "Don't worry, I won't tell," said Naruto. "You had better not," said Temari. "It'd be too troublesome if anyone else found out, especially Ino." Shikamaru shivered at that very thought. If Ino found out, any hopes of keeping his new relationship a secret would be long gone. Naruto grinned a little. Temari turned back towards her bothers and a devious grin was plastered on Kankuro's face. Before Kankuro could think any further, Temari's fan found his head. "Whatever you're thinking, stop or I'll beat the crap out of you," even more threatened Temari. In the midst of these antics, Gaara turned to Naruto and offered the blonde a hand. "Thank you for everything, Naruto. It was because of you that I can finally say I have friends." "Hey, I don't really know what to say," said Naruto, rubbing the back of his head before returning the handshake to Gaara. "But anyways, take care." Gaara turned around to join his siblings, who were now starting on their 3-day journey back to Suna. "If it's on your way, you should stop by Suna sometime on your trip," called out Kankuro. "Will do," said Naruto. Kiba and Shino were on their way back from a meeting with Kurenai-sensei. With the Aburame compound being the closest, which was where they arrived first as Akamaru bolted off around to the back of the compound. "Is something on your mind?" Shino asked Kiba. Not really," replied Kiba. However, to those observant enough, they could tell Kiba was hiding something. "You should say whatever it is on your mind. That is what part of being a team is about," said Shino. "It's just you and Hinata are already tuning and yet I'm still a Jinan." "I don't know, I feel like I'm falling behind," said Kiba. "Perhaps, but all that means is that you need to rethink your training and push yourself harder. Look at Naruto, he was the dead last in the academy, and yet he's probably the strongest out of all of us," said Shino. "Why?" "Because whenever he was down, he'd always pick himself back up and find a way to become stronger." "Yeah, you're right," said Kiba, letting out a sigh. "All I do boast about how good I am and then get my ass handed to me. Perhaps it's time I really start pushing myself to get stronger." He thought back to his prelim match against Yugito, and forward to the match between Naruto and Sasuke. He had gotten his ass handed to him by Yugito, and then the match between Naruto and Sasuke was really what showed him how far behind his skills were lacking. He really was a dog that was all bark and no bite. "Precisely. Push yourself to improve and I'm confident you'll get a lot stronger. Even Hinata and I would be glad to help you." "Why?" "Because we are a team and that's what teammates do. They help each other improve," said Shino. "Hey, thanks Shino. And don't worry, I won't remain a Jinan for long. By the time the next Chunin exams come around, Akamaru and I will have worked our asses off and proven that we really are strong," said a determined Kiba. "I believe you will," said Shino. The two came around the back of the Aburame compound where Akamaru had gone to greet Fu. "Kiba, Shino." Greeted Fu. Yo waved Kiba. "How are you feeling?" asked Shino. "Much better. Hokage-sama said that I'm fully recovered, which is great. I've been dying to stretch my wings for days," said Fu as her wings sprouted from her back and she was airborne seconds later, barely dodging a tree doing so. "Hey, guess I've still got a ways to go with my control." Her first few days in the Aburame compound had been more than enjoyable. All of them seemed very accepting of Fu, and the most she had to deal with, regarding her status as a Jinchuriki, was some of the Iburames asking what the Nanabi was like. They weren't afraid of either Fu or the Nanabi, and they easily welcomed her as family. After seeing the Suna trio off, Shikamaru joined his sensei and Kuji at barbecue for dinner. As always, Kuji was eating his fill and depleting Asuma's sorry wallet. "Asuma-sensei, after this do you think we could go and train a bit?" asked Kuji. "Train? But it's starting to get late," replied Asuma. "I know, but I need to get stronger. Everyone else is going to be getting stronger and I can't continue to slack," replied Kuji. Asuma smiled while lighting up a cigarette. It was about time Kuji finally got some resolve. "I suppose we could train a little bit tonight," replied Asuma. "Right." With that, Kuji scooped up all the remaining pieces of meat on the grill and placed them on top of a large bowl of rice. "Let's go." "You know, Konohamaru, that sexy jutsu isn't going to do it anymore," said Naruto as they walked from Ichiraku towards one of the training grounds. "Wait, do you mean that you have something better?" asked Konohamaru as his eyes lit up at the prospect of an improvement to the sexy jutsu. "Perhaps," grinned Naruto. "Well actually, you already know about my harem jutsu, but you can't do that until you can make a lot of shadow clones." "Well then, a lot of shadow clones coming right up," shouted Konohamaru. "Wait. Don't," said Naruto, trying to stop Konohamaru. It was too late. Shadow Clone Jutsu, called out Konohamaru. To Naruto's surprise, a perfect clone of Konohamaru's popped into existence. Yes. I did it. Oog, I feel dizzy. Konohamaru collapsed to the ground as the clone dispelled. Wow. He got the Shadow Clone Jutsu down already, but his chakra reserves are nowhere near the point they need to be to use it. That one clone took everything out of him and he barely was able to hold it for 5 seconds, thought Naruto, impressed at the young Sarutobi. He went over to see if Konohamaru was still conscious and Konohamaru began to stir. Did you see that, boss? I did it, he said wearily. Yeah, that was impressive, Konohamaru said Naruto, but I'm afraid you can't use that jutsu yet. What? But you saw me. I made a clone, shouted Konohamaru. I know, and that was good, but the truth is you don't have the chakra reserves required to use that jutsu effectively, said Naruto. That's why that jutsu is forbidden, is because of how much chakra it uses. I'll tell you what, by the time I get back, if your chakra reserves are enough to handle that jutsu, I'll tell you a few secrets about it, but don't use it until you know for sure your chakra reserves are large enough to handle it, okay? Okay, boss, you've got it, said Konohamaru. I'll just have to come up with an even sexier version of the sexy jutsu without it. It seems my young apprentice has been sharing the secrets behind that jutsu from Kami himself, thought a certain white-haired man who was spying on his student. Again. Oh yes, this definitely is going to be an interesting trip. Some secret lair. Orochimaru-sama. What is it, Kabuto? Hissed Orochimaru as Kabu came charging into Orochimaru's chambers. The snake had one arm bandage that Kabuto had managed to regrow somehow. However, the chakra flow through that arm was severely lacking and it would be near impossible for Orochimaru to use it for casting jutsu. The other arm was just a stump that Kabuto was also trying to regrow, but with a stronger chakra network. Sir, the experiment was a success and the subject is displaying evidence of both blood limits, reported Kabuto. The grin on Orochimaru's face grew 3 times larger. Kukaku, so it seems that Uzumaki's scroll was of some use after all, chuckled Orochimaru. Yes, but unfortunately the 2 donors did not survive the procedure, said Kabuto. Shame, but if we were able to put both bloodlines into a single body, then it was well worth it, said Orochimaru. So tell me, Kabuto, which 2 subjects did you use to donate their bloodlines to? Kabuto whispered something into Orochimaru's ear and the snake Sanin's eyes grew wide. An interesting combination. An interesting combination indeed. Yes, and there might be a possibility that the 2 blood limits combine into something more, said Kabuto. Kukukaku, oh what a find that scroll was, said Orochimaru. Sir, shall I continue with further experiments? Asked Kabuto. Yes, but tread carefully. Seeing as we lose the original bearer of the bloodline, we have to proceed carefully and cannot afford to waste anyone, said Orochimaru. Yes sir, I will also begin looking into ways to obtain other bloodlines, said Kabuto. You know, it's a shame really, said Orochimaru, a thought coming to his head. What is? Asked Kabuto. You remember those experiments I did trying to infuse the Shodai cells into children to see if any one of them exhibited the Makuten? Asked Orochimaru. Kabuto nodded. Yes, I suppose it really is a shame none of them survived. But if I may ask, what were you thinking of? It's just a legend, but something that had intrigued me for years. Apparently, there is an incredible power that is awakened, one that hasn't been seen since the Sage of the 6 Paths, when the Uchiha's Sharingan and the Shodai's Makuten are combined, said Orochimaru. So I see you are still set on going after Sasuke then? Asked Kabuto. Of course. I would have had him had that oath Jiraiya not shown, and even then the only reason why I lost was because I was careless. When I transfer to my next vessel, I will find that fool, and I will crush him, growled Orochimaru. If I may, who will be your next vessel, Orochimaru-sama? Asked Kabuto. Cuckoo, that all depends on your results over the next few years. 2 blood limits, I can just taste it, grinned Orochimaru with his evil grin. I won't disappoint you, Orochimaru-sama, said Kabuto. Kukaku. That scroll was a lovely gift indeed, said Orochimaru. Once I get a new, stronger body, nothing will be able to stop me from achieving my goals and Sasuke will finally be mine. Iwaigakure no Sato. Tsuchikage-sama. Surely we have to do something. If a Namikaze truly is alive, then there's no telling just how big of a threat he'll become, warned a man. We can't just let him get away with murdering 15 of our shinobi, said another man. Yes, this revelation certainly is troubling news. Are you certain he's a Namikaze? Asked Aniki, the Sandaimate Tsuchikage. Aniki was handed a picture that had been taken during the match between Naruto and Sasuke of Naruto donning one of the infamous tri-pronged knives. Those knives, and he even looks a lot like him. Damn it. Very well, said Aniki as he made a signal to one of the Anbu inside his meeting room. About 15 minutes later, a squadron of 3 Iwa Anbu entered the room. Only 3? You can't be serious. The yellow flash alone was able to take down an entire army. Reasoned one of the men. I am aware, And it won't be just these three, said Aniki. Well, who else are you sending then? The man was cut off before he could finish as a giant in red armor came through the door to the meeting hall. The men in the hall looked towards the giant with a mixture of fear and hatred. What the hell do you old bastards want of me now? Growled the giant. The three Anbu moved next to the giant. The four of you are to hunt down and kill this person, said Aniki, handing them a picture of Naruto. PHT, and why the hell would I do that? Scoffed the giant. What do I owe all you? You're the ones who fucked over my life. If that's the case, then why don't you just get out of here, you freak? Yelled one of the men. Because if I just left, I would be labeled as a missing nin and you would hunt me to no end like the dogs you are, replied the giant. If you do this, if you kill this person, I'll let you leave. You won't be marked a missing nin, you'll be free to go, said Aniki. Han thought about it for a moment and then reached over to take the picture. It's only a brat. You can't take care of a simple brat? Who is this? His name is Uzumaki Naruto. However, we have strong reasons to believe he may be of Namikaze descent, said Aniki. Namikaze, you say? Wasn't the bastard who leveled your entire army a Namikaze? Asked the giant, laughing a little, and you can see why we need him dead then. We cannot allow that line to continue, said Aniki. So what do you say, Han? Fine, I'll do it, said Han. He turned to the three Anbu. Let's go. The quicker I kill that brat, the quicker I can get out of this hellhole. Tsuchikage-sama, you're not seriously letting him go? He's the Jinchuriki of the Gobi, said one of the Tsuchikage's shinobi advisors. The Anbu know what to do when the kid is killed. Don't worry, assured Aniki. Kumagakure no Sato. Brother is not happy, yo, said B, whose team had gathered to discuss the results of the Chunin exams. Out of his entire team, only Yugito received a promotion, seeing as Karu didn't even make the finals, and while Amoe may have won his second match, the Raikage didn't quite feel he was experienced enough. Something that was new, as Kumo was now becoming more strict on who they allowed to be promoted to ensure that those promoted were actually worthy of their rank. I honestly can't believe he did that to Konoha. They really didn't seem like too bad of people, said Yugito. You tell that to the bastard that nearly gave me a heart attack. Responded Karu. So what exactly is going to happen? Asked Yugito. He handed her a black book that was an unpublished version of Kumo's bingo book and opened to a page with both Naruto and Sasuke's picture on it and a few of the other Konoha participants in the exam. However, the most surprising thing was that the orders on them were to capture them alive. It was obvious that the Raikage wanted to get his hands on their blood limits. While the Uzumakis didn't exactly have a true blood limit, many of their most powerful seals were gated by blood seals, making their Fuinjutsu abilities sort of an artificial blood limit, as only an Uzumaki could use them. This is crazy. The Raikage is going to risk further destroying relationships between Kumo and Konoha if he goes through with this. Why the hell is he going through with this? Those Konoha guys never came off as bad people, and Naruto even saved us the trouble of having to deal with an enraged Jinchuriki, thought Yugito. True, kitten. The Raikage just feels threatened by them. And look at it this way, it's a capture order, not a kill order. You do have to admit some of those Konoha guys were kind of hot, teased the Nibi. What? Asked Yugito. I saw you checking some of them out. So which one is it? Perhaps if you're lucky, the Raikage will let you have one to play with. Shut up, Nibi. You've got it all wrong. Denied Yugito, turning red at the Nibi's playful taunts. Oh, come on now. Stop denying it. Yugito, is everything okay? Asked Amoe, who noticed Yugito kind of zoned out and even began to blush at the Nibi's teasing. Yeah, everything's just fine, said a frantic Yugito, trying to simply shrug off everything the Nibi just said to her. Amoe just decided to leave Yugito to herself. So what do we do, B-sensei? If we let the Raikage go through with this, then that could send relations with Konoha downhill, or it could even lead to war. What if we were all killed? What if? Oh, stop overreacting, yelled Karu. I'll deal with brother. He's always been hard in the head, you know, but Killer B will see it through, yo, rapped B. Akatsuki hideout. All of us meeting here together like this. Spoke a shadowy figure. We haven't done this since 4 years ago, when Orochimaru left the organization. Last I heard he was after your little brother, Itachi, said another figure. But then again, Orochimaru was always a complete failure. It doesn't really matter. One day, Orochimaru will be killed, said yet another figure. But more importantly, what do? Our ambitions will be more successful if we move all at once. Use these next 3 years to prepare yourselves for once we meet again. Our plans will move forward in full, said another shadowy figure with purple rippled eyes. An underground section of Konoha. Danzo-sama addressed one of Danzo's root operatives. Torune, do you have anything to report? Asked Danzo. Yes. It is something that I believe you will find most intriguing, said Torune. It appears as if there is another Jinchuriki in Konoha. Danzo's uncovered eye lit up. Another Jinchuriki? Where and which one? Her name is Fu and she is the Jinchuriki of the Nanabi. Currently, She is residing at my clan's compound, which is how I came across this information, reported Torune. Well, this certainly is news. I never imagined Tsunade would get Konoha another Jinchuriki. If I can find a way to control her, then she could make for a fine weapon one day, thought Danzo. Thank you, Torune. That information was most enlightening. What are your orders, Danzo-sama? For now, merely observe her and report everything to me. We will move forward with whatever plan once we have enough information to formulate one, said Danzo. Hi, said Torune before leaving to continue his new assignment. Most interesting indeed. Not only is there the Kyubi Jinchuriki, but the Nanabi Jinchuriki as well within Konoha. They will most certainly make powerful weapons of mine once I can find a way to teach them to control the power sealed within them, thought Danzo. It's a shame I still have to wait 5 more years before using that jutsu again. It would be perfect for securing one of my ultimate weapons. Konoha. It was late at night, or very early in the morning, and Sakura was taking a walk near the north gate of the village. She didn't exactly know why she was taking a walk, and she probably should have just gone home if she wanted to make sure she didn't sleep through Sasuke's or Naruto's send-off. But for some reason she just couldn't sleep. It was then that she got her answer when she saw a familiar figure walking towards her with a pack on. Sasuke? Asked Sakura, snapping awake. Why are you out here in the middle of the night? Asked Sasuke. I don't really know. She then took a look at the pack on Sasuke's back. You're leaving, aren't you? It was either leave now, or be swarmed with fangirls in the morning, retorted Sasuke. As to why you're here, I'm surprised you didn't notice the genjutsu I put on you that made you come here. Perhaps I didn't want to notice, replied Sakura, making Sasuke smile a little. It was then that Sakura began to cry a little before she ran over to Sasuke and hugged him. I guess there's no avoiding it anymore, you really are leaving. Yeah, it's something I've got to do. I'm not going to get stronger by being chased around by horny fangirls 24/7, said Sasuke, earning a small giggle from Sakura. I know. It's just 3 years. It's going to get really quiet around here. I wish I could go with you, but I know you have to do your own thing for now and I've got to do mine, said Sakura. Don't worry, I'll be back, oomph. Sasuke wasn't able to finish his sentence as Sakura pushed her kiss onto him. After a few moments, Sasuke slowly pulled away as it was time to go. You know, you really can be annoying sometimes, but for some reason, I don't mind. Sakura smiled a little at the joke. Sakura, thank you for everything, said Sasuke before walking away to begin the next step in his journey. If fighting to protect someone is what truly makes a person strong, then I will become strong. I will protect them, from Orochimaru and especially you, Itachi. Naruto. Hinata had come to the top of the Hokage monument where Naruto was sitting on top of his dad's head after getting one last bowl of ramen for lunch with Iruka. Upon seeing the blonde there, she ran over to him, wrapping herself around them. Had Naruto not been holding onto the stone with chakra, there would be a very good chance the two would have been sent tumbling off the Yondaime's head. I know, I'm going to miss you too, said Naruto, returning the hug. But as I promised, I'll be back and I'll be stronger than ever. I know you will, and I'll be looking forward to the day you come home, said Hinata, going in for the kiss that her father had denied them. She held the kiss as long as she could, trying to get 3 years worth out of just one kiss. But sadly, all good things come to an end and their kiss had to end as well. Come on, Haim, walk with me to the gate? Asked Naruto. Hinata smiled and took Naruto's hands as they walked down from the monument. Naruto. What was with all the seals on the monument? And why are your hands red? Asked Hinata. Oh, that, said Naruto with that mischievous grin as he rubbed the back of his head. That's a surprise. As they reached the gate, all the members of the Konoha 14, the Jonin Sensais, Iruka Sensei, Suand, Shizune, and Jiraiya were waiting for him to see him off. Hey guys, what are you all doing here? Asked Naruto, acting oblivious. What do you think? We're here to kick your sorry ass out of the village, joked Kiba. Haha, replied Naruto in a sarcastic tone. Yeah, just joking, replied Kiba. So I guess you're off then, Naruto? Asked Tenten. Yep. I guess so, replied Naruto. Naruto. May your flames of youth grow even brighter along your travels, declared Lee. Yeah, what Lee said, only less flames of youth, replied Tenten. Naruto, I wish you well on your trip. When you return, I would like a rematch, said Neji. Sure, anytime, Neji, replied Naruto. Take care, Naruto. And let me know if you come across any delicious ramen, said Kuji. You bet, said Naruto. Just make sure you come back. It gets a little too quiet around here when you're not around. It really is troublesome, said Shikamaru, earning a laugh from most everyone. Yeah, just don't cause too many problems while you're gone, said Ino. Oh come on, you know me. Replied Naruto. Yeah, that's what we're worried about, joked Kiba. Anyways, just train hard because I want to beat you at full when you come back. From one comrade to another, I wish you the best on your trip, said Shino. Naruto, thank you. Because of you, I actually have a chance at life, said Fu, holding onto Shino's arm. You taught me the true meaning of living and helped both me and Zabuza-sama out. For that, I thank you as well, said Haku. Shikamaru's right, it's going to get really quiet here without you, Naruto, said Sakura as she gave Naruto a goodbye hug. Just make sure both of you come back safely. Thanks, Sakura, grinned Naruto. Naruto, good luck with everything, said Iruka. Don't worry, Iruka-sensei. And when I come back, I'll buy you a celebratory bowl of ramen for making Jonin, said Naruto. I look forward to it, replied Iruka. Now, make sure you use this trip to train, and you had better not pick up any of your sensei's less desirable traits. One pervert's enough. Also, I want you to start eating a few other things besides ramen. You're going to be hitting a growth spurt here soon, and if you don't get the proper nutrition, you won't grow properly, said Tsunade. Come on, Bakken. I won't become a pervert, and there's nothing wrong with ramen, said Naruto. He then turned to Hinata, who practically threw herself at him one last time, giving him one last kiss. A few AWs, one whistle from Kiba, and one Neji trying his best to resist the urge beat the blonde to a bloody pulp. Later, Naruto was beside Jiraiya. Well, it looks like I'm off. I'll see you all in 3 years, said Naruto as he looked up towards the Hokage monument. Watch me. I'll come back even stronger and make you proud, Dad. That's it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on my other social media accounts. Anime God here, and I'm signing off.